me
Oh,
that.
okay. No, that actually it all makes sense. Yeah,
Makes sense for us. So the car explodes.
okay. So the car explodes. There's glass all over. I knew we were in trouble, and I said, start the car up, get out of here. She started the car up, and I said, this is my neighborhood. I know exactly where I am. So we go down. She goes down 159th Street to 32nd Avenue, and makes a right. Now, at that point, I pass out. And I'm guessing I passed out for 10, 12, 15 seconds, because when I awoke, we were on like it was 159th and 32nd, so we're on like 165th Street. So we went like 6 blocks, however long that takes. And she's in a panic. She has, obviously she sees the blood. She's driving. She doesn't know what happened. And unlike me, who was shot and like adrenaline was like taking care of everything, not to panic, she didn't have that luxury. Plus, it's not her neighborhood. And it's 2:00 in the morning. So I said, make a right, man. And I directed her back to the bar, which, again, in retrospect, it's like, well, why wouldn't you go to the hospital? That would be the, but you have to realize I didn't think it was that serious. Let me finish the story. I'll tell you how I found out I was shot. So I directed her, and at that point we were probably 5 blocks from the bar. So, a series of one-way streets, and left, right, and she pulls in front of the bar. I get out and walk to the bar, open the door, and the guy at the door says, that's look good. He sat me down. My shirt turns blood red, and my friends take me to the hospital, put me in the car and take me to the hospital. And again, I have no idea what happened to Rosemary. I'm assuming she got in her car with her friends and drove to the hospital, but I don't know. It's all a blur. It's all a blur. The reason what happened about 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm laying on the gurney in the emergency room, and they're picking, glass, bone fragments, and everything else out of the back of my head. They used like a local anesthesia, so I didn't really feel anything. I could just feel them, touching, but it didn't hurt or anything. And I was, laying like this on my stomach, and every time the swinging doors would open, my friends were there, wave, and So I think it was about 5 o'clock in the morning. A cop comes up to me and he says, should we call your parents? Maybe it was early, maybe it was 4 o'clock. And he's like, should we call your parents? And I said, well, my dad lives upstate, and I said, what time is it? He's, 4 o'clock. I said, I says, as long as I'm home by 7, my mother won't even know I was out. So that's when he says, son, he goes, you're not going home. You're shot in the head. And that's when it all sunk in that I was shot in the head. Yeah, so it was like 2-3 hours later. I mean, and
now it shattered your skull, but did the bullets stay in there?
When it hit my head, from what I understand, it was just like, they couldn't even. It didn't. I don't think it stayed in. I don't know for a fact though. I do know that there was the bullet that hit me. They couldn't do anything with that. That I know. As far as ballistics or anything, if it stayed in there, I really don't know. These questions. Who thinks to ask? Back then, I mean, if I was of right mind, I would have told the doctor. I said, put the bullet fragment in a jar, and I want it. It would be really cool if I had it now. But who's thinking of that then? It's like I have so many questions that I wish I knew. I wish I asked back then. That's one of them. Like, let me have the bullet.
So, her father being a detective. That became kind of a part of your story, didn't it?
It did. It did. It's not as long of a story as you might think. Detective Keenan, Red Keenan, and Detective Blues was his partner. I had literally, I remember 2 encounters with them. And you would think there would be a lot more. There was one instance where it was like the next day, they came in to ask me, what happened, where did it happen? And I told them it was about 2 o'clock, and it happened on 160th Street and 33rd Avenue. And they came back and they threatened to arrest me because I didn't tell them the truth. And